It's the matchup presented by DraftKings. I'm your host, Travis Fulton. Thank you for making us part of your day. And you know what? Another week on the PGA Tour. Why don't we go back to South Carolina? Haven't been there in a while. Third event in South Carolina this week. It's a new one. It's supposed to be the Canadian Open, of course, but our neighbors are not going to let that happen this year. 2 years in a row now. So instead, we're going to stay right here, just north of Savannah in South Carolina. It's called the Palmetto Championship. It's at Congaree, I believe, golf club. And let me tell you something. There's a lot of money there. There's some billionaires that I think put this course together. And if you got money, you can make things happen. So the PGA Tour comes in. Speaking of money, these guys, they like to make some money as well in fantasy golf, in outright bets, and they join me. Good friends of mine for a long time. You know them as the Tour Junkies. That's Dave Barnett and the right Pat Perry in the bottom. Just got his phone propped up on a beer can. Boys, how we doing?
Tremendous to quite tremendous. We're excited. Thanks for having us on, man, for the Kakalaki Championship. Very excited. It's right in Pat's backyard, too, right there down near Savannah, Georgia. We're pumped. Pat's going to be on site, actually, Travis. I don't know if we told you that. He's going to be there.
Pat, let me guess. You're credentialed media this week. Can you hear me, Pat Perry?
Somehow the PGA Tour saw – I can. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Very professional operation we have here. God dang it, Pat. You know,
Pat, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
There's a delay.
There's a major delay. It's back in the day when Pat would have a bunch of technical problems on our show. We called it technical difficulties because he said that one time. He said, "I'm having some technical difficulties." And
yeah.
So we kind of branded that. Pat's known for technical difficulties. I got to be honest with you.
Well, there he is. Now he's in and out. It's got to be an internet situation. Now he's just playing with us. Now he can't even. Can you hear us there, Patrick?
I can hear you. I don't
there
know.
You go. Okay, now we're back.
Don't touch anything else. Leave the phone alone. Oh, this is what it's like. Oh my God. Is Pat's dad?
All right, so we're going to get on with it here because, Pat, you can join us if you'd like and
Travis,
talk about.
For sending me this broken link to try and get on this show. I mean, what am I supposed to do here?
Well, let me put it to you this way, Pat. This is the 178th episode of the Stripe Show, and I've never had this issue. But that's neither here or there. I still love you. You're credentialed media. I know you're in the top 1,000 in short game in the state of, or in the county, or in what is it? What is in your neighborhood? Is that what it is at this point?
In the world.
In the world. Okay. In the world. All right. Here we go. Palmetto Championship matchup. Here's how we got. We got the top ranked course value, which I think there's a few left. I know we've had a lot of withdrawals here. Charlie Hoffman, Brandon Grace, Danny Willett, you name it. So there are some people in the field still. DJ's here, Brooks is here, and a few others. So we're gonna start up top. Yeah, there's not many left. We're gonna start up top here.
Who's playing Rob Bolton? Will you just let us know who is playing the tournament?
Exactly. Then we'll get down to the 9,000s. There's a little bit there. A couple of interesting names. Garrett Higg, I'm excited to watch him play again here in the United States. Talented young lefty from the European Tour. And then we'll get down to the 8,000s. And, of course, we're going to have to do some damage here, boys, in the 7s and the 6s, I think. We're going to have to give these folks some insight, and we're going to have to look ahead into the future because we don't know much about this course. So here's I'll give you my 2 cents, and then you boys give me what you think we're up against here with Congaree Golf Club. This has the potential to be the fastest and the firmest event on the PGA Tour. I think it has that potential. Now, will it play out that way? We don't know. Sounds like a lot of dog legs. We're going to probably a little bit of wind, certainly not like with Kiowa, which is more seaside. But fast and firm. Is this like a little link style with some options off the tee to cut corners and some really difficult short game shots? That's where I'm at this point. What do you say?
Pat, you're the course guy. I'll let you go.
Well, I mean, first, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
You look great. You sound great.
At least you can. At least you can hear me. Yeah, I mean, I think this course is going to probably play pretty firm and fast. I will say this. I mean, we have gotten a lot of rain in this area over the last few days, and I think we'll get it some again tomorrow, which will be Tuesday. So it'll slow it down a little bit, but I do think this course just lends itself the way, they've set up this course. Typically, I think it's going to be pretty firm and fast. I think that you've got a lot of runoff areas around these greens, so I think scrambling is going to be important. But I do think you're right. I think it's not going to play as long as this. I mean, people are going to look at this and see almost 7,700 yards. It's a new course, obviously, no one's ever seen before, but they can cut some corners out here on this course. So I don't think it's going to play quite as long as people might think. I'm not just going to be looking at the bombers this week. But I'm just interested to see. Like we said, I'm going to be out there on the course walking it tomorrow. I just want to kind of see what it's like because I think it's cool that we're playing a new course that no one's ever seen. And we saw this with Concession earlier in the year. So it'll be interesting. But nobody really knows, do they, Travis? I mean, no, we're going to hear all the touts this week talk about how much they know about the course, but they really don't. I mean, nobody knows.
No one knows. And it didn't sound like there's any rough either, Dave. So this sounds like, you can kind of move it around. The ball's going to be sitting up no matter where it is on the golf course. Like we've seen rough now the last 2 weeks. It was kind of cool, actually. I got to tell you, I sat there and watched that tournament last week, and I was like, man, it has been a long time since I've seen this kind of rough on a golf course on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, it was like U.S. Open last year was the last time we saw that. I agree. Yeah, I think firm and fast is what it's going to do. I think that being in the fairways are going to be critical. You do read some things about how tough it is to keep the ball on the proper levels on these greens, and they're firm. So I think you're dead on with around the green play. That's something I usually, we're going to have a difficult golf course and something that's a little bit of an unknown. That may mean, scoring's not going to be great. I think this is going to be a difficult test. And anytime you get that, I think around the green gets bumped up in terms of stats that you want to look at. You need those grinders. It's been compared to like the Royal Melbourne, like Australian, sandbelt stuff. It's been compared to Pine Valley, Pinehurst. Very interesting courses where you play the ball. The ball's meant to be played on the ground. So it's perfect for Pat Perry, who considers himself top 10,000 in the world golf
in his neighborhood.
Yeah, in the world golf ranking in the strictly bump and run stat category. He feels like he's the man there. So I'll be looking at that. Other than that, man, I'm full DGAF mode this week.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into it here. We've only got 4 guys here in the top here. Everybody else is gone. Like they're practicing and they're out in Torrey right now and they're prepping. I think this course probably no rough, kind of the lack of perhaps US Open feel maybe hurt the field a little bit because they're not going to get that kind of preparation here. But nonetheless, it's going to be interesting to see. I agree with Pat. I always like seeing new courses, especially if it's fast and firm, man. We don't get that a lot in the United States. The ball's played in the air. They hit it to the number. It's a little bounce and it stops. I love seeing the ball on the ground running. They have to hit it 135 to make it go, 150, right? And you talk about Australia. I go back to the President's Cup. That was fun to watch when those guys were down there playing in those kinds of conditions. All right, DJ, 11-4. Brooks, 11-1. I think the bigger question this week is who does Brooks Koepka pick a fight with this week? We'll get to that later. Matthew Fitzpatrick at 10,400. And then you got Terrell at 10 too. So I don't know. Probably got to fade the top, don't you? Or are you gonna pay all that and then go down to the 7s and the 6s and fill it up? What are you gonna do, Pat?
I am not going to pay up for DJ and Brooks. I think, for one, DJ just has not been there at all with his game lately.
No.
So I just don't see him. I don't want to pay that price for him. Brooks usually, who knows? I mean, who knows what we're going to get from BK this week? I mean, he might pick a fight like you said. I think he's just trying to work on his game to get ready for the U.S. Open. It could be a good course for both of them, actually. I like DJ's he's got kind of a feel type play, the way he plays. I think he can, and I think you're going to have that sort of just like creativity around this course. And I think a guy like DJ actually could play well, on a course like this, but I just don't want to pay up for him as far as DK is concerned. I would rather go to the bottom of this range and pay up for Hatton. I think Hatton is a great play here, so I'm a big fan of him.
Well, you said around the green, Dave. Of these four, last 24 rounds coming in, we all use Fantasy National. I know you guys have some other softwares that you like to use. I like going 24 rounds. Of the four, the best short game player around the greens is Fitzpatrick. But we know that, hey, DJ and Koepka are the class. But Hatton's, I look at Hatton, it's kind of like, it's almost like a little bit of Rahm. Just kind of stuck in neutral, hasn't really pushed the accelerator. We saw Rahm pop out of it last week. Unfortunate situation on Sunday. Can Hatton, we mentioned the link style play. He's certainly used to that.
Yeah, I don't mind the Hatton play. I got to be honest though, we all have our guys, right? I mean, Pat and I've been doing this 6 years. Fitzpatrick is kind of one of my guys right now.
Okay.
I keep rolling with him. I've been rolling with him a lot this year. He's disappointed me the last couple of weeks. The irons have suffered a little bit, and I am concerned. What I love about Fitzpatrick is I feel like he's a grinder, as you mentioned, the around the green play. Great Bermuda putter. I mean, Bermuda is far and away his best surface when you look on Fantasy National, which is the only software we use, by the way. We love Fantasy National.
Okay,
and he's he's as accurate as as almost any guy out there on tour, but he's also gained some speed this year. That's documented. He's gained some speed. He's hitting it further, as a lot of these guys are starting to do, but he's still hitting fairways. He's just got to get the irons to come around. I feel like, with a lot of these big names, this is one of those weeks where like they're really trying to get to that peak place. I feel like Patrick he was on such a nice run there through like February through April. And then it's kind of fallen off the tracks 2 out of the last 3 weeks. And I feel like this is going to be a week where he's determined to turn it around, get 4 rounds in and even win. Like, I mean, he's still looking for his first PGA Tour win, I believe. So, that's where I'm going.
Why do I feel like this course, a good comp would be Bay Hill? You got a lot of the dog legs you can cut. Bay Hill, you can play fast, you can play firm. Not the short game demand, but you certainly got more rough there, but it just feels, I don't know, maybe a little, perhaps a fast and firm kind of Bay Hill. We've seen it that way.
Yeah, I could see it.
Terrell, he's played well there.
Bay Hill.
Think about Fitzpatrick. You're right. This is his opportunity. I mean, anything with DJ and Koepka, you feel like maybe those guys are just, they're there to hit some shots, kind of tune up a little bit. How serious are those two taking it? They're going to tell you they are, but I mean, come on, we've seen DJ out there freewheeling it before, and he looks like he's somewhere else. But it does feel like Fitzpatrick, man. This is the place to get your first win. I think you make a good point. Now hang tight because we're gonna go to the 9s here, and then we're gonna pick a little. We're gonna kind of pick a couple guys once we get to the 9s here. So Harris English 99. Sunjay, flip your coin, M 97. Who knows? Fleetwood, he'll get a lot of play, I'm sure, at 95, especially the way his short game's been. I think Poulter's an interesting name at 92. Kazire might be the most underrated player in the last 4 weeks, the way he's been playing at 91. And I think Garrick Higgle's a great story. I love watching him play early in the mornings at 9,000. I don't know, Dave, start with you. Take me what jumps at you in the 9,000s.
I mean, right off the bat, I'm a little tempted by Kazire. I'm also kind of a Kazire guy. I played him last week when he missed the cut after coming off of back-to-back third-place finishes. Very, very good putter. I mean, one of the best putters on the PGA Tour. The irons and driver have been a little shaky. I just feel like it may be one of those names where a lot of people are going to jump off potentially in DFS and in some of these tournaments. So from a game theory standpoint, he's a 2-time winner on the PGA Tour, and he's got 2 top 3s in his last 3 weeks. Like, he gives you a ton. I think he gives you real win. I mean, almost everybody in this field gives you win equity because it's such a weak field. But I feel like Kazire is one of those guys who, if he's around the lead on late on Saturday and into Sunday, he can close the door and finish one. Whereas, and he's been close with 2 third-place finishes. So I like Kazire, and Higo does interest me. I've not really dipped my foot in the Higo pools this year thus far, but South African, played well at the PGA, kind of this, he's on a course where nobody, he has equal course knowledge as everybody else, other than like a few South Carolina guys, that's not a disadvantage for him. He's as motivated, I'm sure, as anybody in the field. So he is definitely tempting to me.
I mean, you got basically the only two guys that have some experience here, I think, is Kisner, and there's one other. I can't, it slips the top of my mind.
Glover is
Lucas Glover, yeah.
Lucas Glover.
Yeah. So, I mean, everyone else is coming in there for the first time, and Higo, man, he's got an impressive game. He's fun to watch. Right now, if you go to DraftKings Sportsbook, 45-1 is Patton Kazire to win. Higo is 46-1. And then, of course, some of the names that we just mentioned, Fitzpatrick's at 13, Tyrrell Hatton is at 12. Yeah, Kazire is interesting. I mean, he played very good. Schwab, Nelson third. Memorial didn't have it, but Kazire, it's interesting with Kazire and Fitzpatrick. They kind of do it a little differently. Like they get it out there off the tee, although Kazire's struggling a little bit off the tee, and they can putt. Right, they're going to get you with the putter. Where a lot of guys, it's the other way. They get you with the approach game, and then you kind of roll the dice. Can they have a good putting week? Which you kind of wait on with players. But when you look at the nines, are you on the Kazire train, Pat, or is there someone else?
I'm not as big on Kazire this week. Now, I will say I think he burned a lot of folks last week. But you mentioned Poulter. I really like Poulter this week. Yeah. He is a guy with a ton of imagination around the greens. You look at somewhere like Fantasy National, he's 15th in the field in scrambling. There's a lot of long par fours on this course between 450 to 500 yards. He's third in the field in that stat category. And so I think a guy like Poulter, who's got a lot of experience on tour, I think with a new course where he'll be coming in and like everybody is. And with his experience, I think that could serve him pretty well this week. He putts well, especially on Bermuda greens. He's top 20 in the field there. And he's played well recently. I mean, we talked about like some course comps. I don't think Kiowa is necessarily a great comp because of the wind, because you're not going to get a whole lot of wind out here where it is. Right. But it is a similar course, and there's a lot of sandy areas. It's longer. And Poulter can play good on a lot of different courses. I mean, he played good at Kiowa and then turns around and plays pretty well at Charles Schwab, which is a totally different course at Colonial. So I just like his versatility, and I think Poulter could have a good week. A lot of people might not want to pay that price for him at 9,200, but I mean, okay, we got Kazire at 9,100, and I mean Higo, and I mean a lot of question marks with a lot of these guys. So.
Yeah, you got to swallow your pride, don't you? Like 92 at Poulter, because you're not used to that. You're not used to that. You look at like, oh no, I'll pass, and you're like, well, wait, who's around him? Last time we saw him, he finished third at Schwab. T21 at Valspar. So yeah, I've been leaning on Poulter as well. The more I look at it, Fleetwood, I don't get it, man. Like everybody's like, he's such a good ball striker. Is he? Like he doesn't really flash statistically. He's had some good short game, and I'm sure that'll get some play. I don't quite understand the Fleetwood love fest that I see on Twitter a lot. How would you describe Sung J M as a gambler?
I mean, lately, no fun. Okay. I mean, but when he first came out, he was just automatic. He was absolutely automatic. Things have definitely gone downhill for Sung Jae a little bit. Don't know what's going on. Maybe he's got a girlfriend. He's he's doing something other than just golfing, because that's what he did for freaking ever. He didn't even have a home. Now he's got a home. Maybe he's got him a lady in there, and they're.
I don't think that's it.
I don't know. I
think Sung J M is like, if you're ever in Vegas and like you happen to wake up a little bit earlier, maybe it's like 8 o'clock or something, you're walking through the lobby and you're thinking like, who is this guy that's playing blackjack at 8 a.m. in the morning? And that's because Sung Jae is just a grinder, and he's just going to keep grinding until he wins or does something well, and so like, or maybe he's playing at 6 a.m. Like maybe you just have, like, you're at the end of your night at 6 a.m. in Vegas, and he's in there like just grinding away. I think that's what Sung Jae is.
He's like dry pre-workout, so he can stay awake.
Well, I mean, as much as he played golf, that he's not leaving the craps table. He's there 24 hours a day, basically. And he's got the bankroll to do it, because he did make a lot of money. At 7,500, he was cash when he came out, right? Rookie of the year. Then you get this 997 stuff, and every time everybody's got that guy, you bet him, and he goes the other way. That's my guy. I just quit as I'm done. I can't do it anymore. Staying up late thinking about Sung J M, and
Yep.
And Harris English, man, I'll tell you, at 99, that feels really expensive, but that's not the same guy that we saw at the early in the season when he won. All right, so give me two guys. We got the top rank there, Dustin, all the way down to 9, Garrick. How are you going to start some lineups there if you had to go two guys in that range? Who's going to go first?
I'm going to definitely go Fitzpatrick. And depending on Higo, we'll see how popular Higo is going to be.
Yeah, I think
if Higo passes like that 12 to 13, 14% ownership range, I might back off and go Kazire. But I think if he stays under that, which in big tournaments he probably will, I think I might lean Higo. But Kazire would be a close second.
Yeah, for me, it's going to be Hatton and Poulter for sure.
Yeah, I think the top guys, I'm leaning towards Hatton. But I'm a Higo homer. I love him. I think he's great. I talked to Eddie Pepperell. He was on the podcast a couple weeks ago. He played with him early. I said, "How good is he?" He said, "He's really, really good." He said, "The kid is really good. He's special." He's like, he's long, good iron player. He's got stuff around the greens. He's inexperienced, but he's got the goods. He's not blowing smoke. They're all good. We get that. But this kid's got it. He's won twice already. I mean, he's got a 3-shot lead coming down the stretch, and he just goes ahead and knocks it in the hole in the par 3, birdies the next hole. It's like he doesn't even nothing phases him. He just keeps going. So I'm pumped to watch him again this week. All right. So Higo, Hatton, those are my two. All right, moving on. 8,000s. More to think about here. Alex Noren, 8,900. Mitchell, I like 8,800. Kisner, 87. Glover, 86. I'm sure I'll be popular. Harold Varner, 85. Snedeker, 84. Johnny Vegas, 83. Russell Knox, 82. CT Pond, 81. Stallings and Doc Redman at 8,000. Start at the bottom there. 8,000s, Redmond, Stallings, Pond, Knox, Vegas, Snedeker, Varner. Anybody's like, yeah, I got to have one of those guys.
For me, it's Varner. I like where Varner is at right now. Checks a box in the approach game, around the green. He's top 15 in both of those categories over the last 24 rounds. He's good off the tee. He's actually a good combination of distance and accuracy, which if you can do that anywhere, that's good, right? But, here with all the trouble and firm and fast, I think that's going to pay off nicely. It's all about the putter for him. So, but he's playing well right now. I mean, I think he just snuck in and made the cut at the Schwab, had a good weekend, finished 32nd, 47th at Memorial. Okay. But he feels like a solid cut maker with real upside. I think Varner could get his first win at an event just like this PGA Tour. Now, he's also won the event in Australia. So if you want to play the whole Sandbelt angle, he won that event a couple years ago. I can't remember the name of the event. Was it the Australian Masters? I don't know. Australian PGA? I don't know. It was one of those.
I think it was PGA.
PGA. So Varner for me is one of the first ones that sticks out.
All right, go top end. Glover, Kisner, who you guys know well, Georgia guy. Mitchell, Noren. Anybody jump out there, Pat, in the top end? Or are you like, yeah, I'm good?
No, for me, I would say Mitchell. You look at his off the tee numbers, he's very good there. Approach leaves a little bit to be desired, but he's top 20 in that par 4 scoring between 450 to 500 yards I've mentioned. Top 20, in opportunities gained. I think Keith Mitchell, we saw him play well at the Wells Fargo a few weeks ago. So I like him this week. I think this is a good course for him. I wouldn't be surprised if he's had some time on this course before, knowing Keith and being in the area and that kind of stuff. So I would imagine he has had at least a little bit of experience here since it's been open. So I like Mitchell there at 8,800.
That's kind of where I was going with it because we know Kisner has Georgia guy, Mitchell, Georgia guy. I think I'd be shocked if Mitchell doesn't have some experience. Mitchell's the guy that jumps out to me. I'll definitely be with him. He
plays tough golf course as well too. You talk about the Honda. I mean, he won the Honda's first event.
Yeah,
never forget it. I touted him at 150 to 1. I bet him at 151. It was a great day. I love Keith Mitchell. We
just slip that in there.
I mean, it's just
we'll throw that one in there.
You remember
he's 46 to 1. You got to play him.
Yeah, I will. You remember the big ones like that. So he plays, but he does play difficult courses well. We just saw him play Wells Fargo. You know, he kind of almost took down Rory there late on Sunday at the Wells, and he's a St. Simon's or Sea Island guy, which isn't that far from here. He does know a lot of those southern, like Georgia, South Carolina, Clemson guys. So it would not shock me if he's had a peek at this place.
Yeah, 46 to 1.
Glover is. I think Glover at 8,600 is everybody's gonna be talking about him. He's got, he's an ambassador for Congaree, which they don't have members; they have ambassadors. I think there's gonna be a lot of ownership on that guy, and I love Lucas Glover. DB knows I'm a Glover fan, but I just don't know if you're gonna get any value out of a very potentially high-owned Lucas Glover.
Well, you're not if you're on fantasynational.com, because the last 24 rounds in the field coming in, he's number 2 in strokes gained total. So,
he's playing really well. It is playing well. It is tough to pass him up, but you're right. I mean, he's going to be highly owned, which doesn't mean you have to fade him. I mean, there's chalk you can eat. We talk about that every week on our show, but when you combine his stats, is pretty decent for Lucas Glover recent form, and the whole, one of the few in the crowd that's got some real Congaree experience, he is going to be popular.
Hey, I mean, he's finished strokes gained positive 6 of the last 8 weeks. I'm here for that, Lucas Glover. I mean, he hasn't sniffed that in a long time. So he's found some stuff.
And look at the putting. Look at the that's what you're talking about. The putter specifically. Yeah. It is kind of remarkable.
God, Lucas Glover hasn't putted like this in a while.
6 out of the last, what's that?
6 of the last 8.
8 weeks. Has that ever happened in his PGA Tour career?
I don't know. I mean, this is.
I can't imagine that it has.
Actually, it did. It did in a quick span in late 19, early 2020. Happened again in 19, like the summer of 19. Yeah, it's happened before, but man,
Kisner's struggling. We know that now. He's going through that slump, as all tour players do. I go back to the strokes gained total last 24 rounds. Matthew Fitzpatrick was 1. We talked about him. Lucas Glover's 2. But then here in this 8,000 range, you've got Noren 4, Harold Varner 5, Snedeker 10. I mean, you got some guys here that are actually, when you look at the field, up there. I mean, the top 5 as far as 24. How much stock you put into that new course, who knows? But there's certainly some guys here that, I'll give you, if we had to pick one in this group, I'm going to take Mitchell. I know that's one of your guys, but I'm going to do that. I'm the host, so I can do that.
Yeah, you can.
Take another guy. Who do you want? 8,000 head to head. Who you got? Glover?
I'm going to go. I'm going to go Johnny Vegas.
Yeah. 8,300 Johnny Vegas. I love it.
I'm going to sneak up with Johnny Vegas on you.
Tell you what,
second in the field off the tee. He can, and he's played well recently. I mean, look at his last few events. He's playing well. So I'm going to go Johnny Vegas on you.
Okay.
I don't know. I was going to go HV3, but I might pull a Pat and give you somebody different. I think I might go Snedeker. Okay. I'm going to go head-to-head matchup here. Wow. I like the grindy, short game. Hits a lot of fairways. Approach plays a little spotty, but I like that for Snedeker.
Snedeker's got a good short game. We know that. And his putting, his ball striking's been okay. My question to Snedeker is there a teacher that he hasn't worked with?
Yeah, no. Has he worked with you yet?
I didn't. I don't work with tour players. That drive me right up the wall. Yes. All right, moving on to 7,000. Here's how we play the 7,000, boys. I'm going to start up top, and I'm just going to go right down the 7s, and you're going to tell me to stop.
Okay.
If there's a name that you like, okay?
They got to still have not withdrawn so far, right?
That's right. Okay. And the first name that I see is already withdrawn. That's Danny Willett at 7,900. He's gone. Hoffman's gone. Brandon Grace is gone. Can't remember if I mentioned that. Luke List, 7,900. Matthew Naismith, 78. Martin Laird, 78. Rafa Bello, 78. You're going to stop me on this next name, aren't you? Vincent Whaley.
Rafa.
Yes.
Pat, you stop me on Rafa?
I knew that was going to happen.
God, I
stopped you on Rafa, though. Actually.
You did? Okay.
Oh, Pat's delay kicking in there, huh?
What do you like about Rafa?
Yeah, I'm stopping you on. Well, I mean, he's playing well recently. I mean, and it's not just the name. I mean, I think there's a lot of people that would kind of held on to him a little bit too long when he just started playing absolutely terrible. But you look at his last few events: 21st at the Byron Nelson, 32nd at the Schwab, 37th at Memorial. He's playing good golf. I mean, he is, and he's obviously shown in the past that he can be a world-class player. Now, the stats aren't going to be that great for him. He does have a good short game right now. He does check that box on par 4 scoring for me. He is a pretty good putter on Bermuda grass. So I think Rafa at 7,800 is someone that I'm gonna slot into some of my lineups this week.
Okay, I can go with that. I think that's a fair play. Vincent Whaley, you stopped me there, Dave. We know he's going to make the cut. The kid makes every cut.
God, I love Vincent Whaley. And I will say, I'm going to toot my horn here because that's what I like to do. I was on him early. I was on him before a lot of people were on him. He works with my boy, Scott Hamilton, incredible coach, incredibly funny. Scott Hamilton, I love that guy. Works with him. I mean, the kid's unbelievable. Iron plays good, checks the box there. Around the green, checks the box there. Putting on Bermuda, checks the box there. Good drives and strokes getting off the tee, checks the box there. Form is great. Like what? I don't know what else to say. Freaking Vincent Whaley. Yes.
I mean, let's go ahead and put some win money on him. I mean,
why
will. Not?
No, well, I've got him right here in my show notes for ours.
He's 110 to 1 right now at DraftKings Sportsbook.
Done.
I mean, I wouldn't surprise me.
No, not at all.
Wouldn't surprise me.
A young kid like him, it's a great event for him.
Pat Perez, 77. Sup, Straka, 77. Villegas, 76. He'll come out of the gate. You know, Villegas will shoot 65 on Thursday. That's happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ben Martin,
yes.
76. Okay. I knew you were going to stop me at Ben. Ben? Yeah.
Very accurate player, good putter. Yeah. Irons are solid. He's kind of all of a sudden playing decent. I mean, dude, I remember when we first started, he was a guy. Like, he was a guy you picked. And, like, then he disappeared for a long time. But 26th at the Byron, 11th at the Wells Fargo. Played well in Texas, played Corrales well. I mean, a weak field event. Ben Martin, yes, I'm gonna roll with it. He'll be like 3% owned, more than likely.
And he loves Bermuda too, right?
Yes.
His name like Bermuda Ben, isn't it?
Well, and I was just gonna say with his name, Ben Martin, that is a name that will always be low owned. That's a low owned name. Yeah. People just see Ben Martin, they're like, oh, my neighbor's Ben Martin. The guy that does my taxes is Ben Martin. Why would I want to play him?
We haven't seen him since the Byron. T26 there, T11 at Wells. Feels right. Yeah. JT Poston, 76. Can't do anything but putt. Sabatini, 76. Seamus Power, 75. Bo Hogue, 75.
Did you say Seamus Power?
Yeah.
Shit, Travis.
Nate Lashley.
You're 75. Better. Names is Pat. Seamus Power, man.
Eric Van Rooyen, 75. Why are you laughing? That's your boy, isn't it?
You said Seamus Power. I'm still laughing at that.
Vaughn Taylor, 74. He'll be there. This is a Vaughn Taylor event, is it not?
No.
Okay, I'll keep going. Dave did Lipsky.
No.
74. Richie Wierenski.
Stop you on Lipsky.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
No, I'm going to stop you on Lipsky.
Okay. Seamus? Lipsky. What do you like Lipsky for? Great ball striker.
Well, he's a good ball striker. He is, great on approach, good scrambler, and he's been playing fantastic on the Korn Ferry Tour. Go look at his Korn Ferry Tour finishes.
Yeah.
He's got like 3 or 4 second place finishes this year. I mean, he's a solid player. This is a weak field, so a guy that's been tearing up the Korn Ferry Tour. I mean, who's to say he can't play well here? Now, off the tee, that's a little bit concerning. But I do think Lipsky has a good shot to play well this week.
There's no rough, right? There's no rough.
Yeah, there is no rough. I mean, it's pretty wide open.
Yeah.
It also might be a good time to point out that Fantasy National is one of the rare places where you can get Korn Ferry Tour data like that. So
hey, I pump Fantasy National all the time. FantasyNational.com. Check it out. It's where we're getting our stats. You pretty much think of it. You can find it at FantasyNational.com. I think it's a good point with Lipsky. There's some names in here. There's some opportunities here. Lipsky's one of them. John Pock was the national top collegiate golfer. This is his pro debut, as David Thompson, who is another University of Georgia product. I think he was the number 1 amateur in the world at one point. This is he's playing in this. We saw him at the RSM Classic where he finished 23rd as an amateur. So there's names like this that, we wouldn't be surprised to see up there in the top 10 by any stretch of the means. And I think Lipsky fits that. Werenski's an interesting one too. His name will pop up there. He's kind of a little different. He's off the tee. He'll get you there off the tee in the approach game. Then he gets a little clunky with the short game and the putter. So he's just kind of the opposite player of Lipsky.
I like him.
Ben on 74.
Not ready yet. I'm not ready yet.
Uline 73. He's popped a couple times as of late. Weak filled, maybe. Yeah. Nick Taylor 73.
I like Nick Taylor. I'll just leave it there. I like Nick Taylor.
Okay.
He's a PGA Tour winner. He can win an event like this. He can win it.
Tom Lewis 73. Ready for this one? Wilco Nienabeer 73.
Stud of a kid. You pronounce that better than Seamus, which is weird.
It is weird. Bronson Burgoon 72.
Is he South African?
Yes, I think he is. Wilco is, yeah.
So we're getting down. Here's Davis Thompson 72.
No.
I'll stop there.
Oh.
Why not? Right? He's played this. I wouldn't be surprised he's played it.
Yeah.
In this area.
He kind of. I watched
David is. I think David is burned by Davis Thompson because he when Davis Thompson was it last year when he made a debut on tour and you just went all in on some Davis Thompson.
God, I kind of did.
Totally. He didn't even. Was it the RSM? Maybe I think it was maybe the RSM. Yeah. And
would you take?
I feel like he's got a.
Yeah.
Do you take Duffner over Davis Thompson at 72?
At this point, I probably would. This week, I probably would.
Patrick Rogers is at 72. I saw he's leading the U.S. Open qualifier. He was like 7 under through 13 at the Bears Club. How does that even happen? At the Bears Club.
That's
goodness, that's a hard golf course.
Rogers is good for 1 round, dude. If qualifying was 4 rounds, he'd be trunk slamming.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he needs to get some longer shorts too.
He's got long legs, dude. You know what
I mean? Scott, I got long legs, and my shorts are longer than that. Scott Piercy 7,200, Bramlett 71, James Hahn 71, Shank, Pride of Evansville, Indiana 71.
Praise God.
You're going to stop me in this next one, aren't you, Brian Stewart? Wow, I'm surprised. How about the next one? You want to talk about some big upside? What about Norlander at 71? What the hell happened to him?
Nah, man.
What happened to Henrik Norlander? I mean, him and Kisner, what happened?
I don't know. I'm done in the 7K right now. I'm done.
Well, Roger Sloan's got potential. Roger Sloan, last 24 rounds, 7,000. Strokes gain approach, he's 11th. Strokes gain off the tee, he's 18th. Strokes gain total, he's 11th. Roger Sloan's got a lot of upside. Playing good golf, 7,000. I'll give you Roger Sloan.
I feel like he always he checks he checks all the boxes and then he just.
You may have told me a little bit.
Make the cut. Make the cut. T35. Okay. Make the cut. Huh?
You may have sold me a little bit.
All right. Hey, look. Everybody's got a little bit of a weakness down here as we get down into the 7,000s and the high 6,000s. I mean, I'm not exactly. I'm trying to sell you here, right? That's what I'm trying to do. All right. So, where did I leave off at? There we go. So there's Hubbard, 7,000. Dude's got a phenomenal short game. Hubbard short game and putting is good, and then his ball striking is awful at times. Awful.
Too long for him.
Yeah. What about Kramer? Hickok.
I hate Kramer.
Danny Lee? Danny, 7,000. Just he's gained like 20 yards of distance, but his approach game's pretty good. He's actually Danny Lee's good. Actually, Danny Lee is let me take a step back. Danny Lee's ball striking is pretty good. His short game and putting is not. That's why he is where he is. John Puck is beginning to the 6,000, 6,900. What if he just comes out and finishes top 10? Would that surprise you?
I would rather have Pac than
Davis. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're getting down to the sevens and the
too.
sixes. Give me a name or two, that if you had to, because we're gonna need one of these. We're gonna need one of these guys, maybe two, depending on how heavy you get up top.
Yeah.
Give me a name or two. Who wants to go first here in this range?
I'm gonna go Smiley Coffin. No, I'm just kidding. I would not go Smiley Coffin. Oh my god. No, I'm gonna go with a great guy with great hair who's been on our show before and kind of resembles Pat Perry, but maybe a more handsome Pat. And that's Hank Lebioda, who's been playing pretty well. I like Hank here at his price, and then I like Robbie Shelton. I heard a little something about Robbie Shelton a couple weeks ago that I think he changed instructors, or he had some sort of a breakthrough with instruction on his ball striking, and then all of a sudden Robbie Shelton makes a couple cuts. He's improving his finishes there. He makes 59th at the Schwab, 32nd at Memorial. Tough course last week. Irons are up, still a little bit iffy, but I think Shelton's an interesting play. Great college career. He's a big time golfer.
Yeah.
So I think he's a breakout.
Okay. Well, you took Shelton from me, so I'll say him. Another guy I would throw out here. Oh man, taking Shelton kind of threw me off a little bit.
I like Shelton too. I think he's definitely the highest ceiling guy there. I mean, he's got.
I like Tyler. I like Tyler McCumber. I don't like how he's been playing lately, but I do like. I mean, you look at the stats. He's pretty long off the tee. Good ball striker. I mean, the guy can score. I think that who knows? Maybe this is a course where he can get it back.
Luke Donald finished 13th at the Byron on the Stripe Show podcast on a Monday this week. Short game. One of the top 20. One of the top short games in the last 20 years. Fascinating to listen to him talk about it.
Very cool. Yeah. You're a good-looking wife, Luke Donald has.
Yeah, I like Robbie for sure. What about Sam Ryder? He played good today. 6,500.
He did play good actually in his qualifier, didn't he?
Sam Ryder is an excellent ball striker. I need a good putting wing. Okay, I need a good putting wing. I'll give you Sam Ryder.
Okay, I like that. He's popped a couple times on PGA Tour events, been in the run, and then he'll miscut like 6 times in a row. So he's a boomer bust tournament play in the 6K range. It is what it is.
That's what it is, right? So I'm probably going to get a good ball striker.
Isn't that everybody down here?
Yeah, it is.
Right?
It's almost everybody up to like 9K, pretty much.
Let me see if I can sell you on. Hold on. Let me see if I can sell you on Chris Baker at 6,200, who's right now.
I can always be
the cut. Huh?
I
can always be sold.
I love Chris Baker. Now I will say I had him confused for a long time with a European Tour player. I can't remember his name, and I discovered it live on the podcast. Anyway, yeah, I'm a big fan of Chris Baker. He's a Midwestern guy too, right? Accurate guy.
Yeah, he lives here. He lives in Jack's Beach, but he is a Midwest guy.
Didn't he play in or he grew up there? Yeah.
One of the nicest guys in the world too, by the way. I knew Chris. Chris used to come into the Tour Academy at Sawgrass every single day and work on his club before he had any status at all, just grinding. And then he started putting it together and got out there and has played well and has maintained some status. What about Lucas? That dude can make a lot of birdies. Beauregard.
Yeah.
Nah. Lucas Beauregard. Make a lot of birdies. What about the snake, Greg Chalmers, 6,300? You want to talk about a short game? That dude will get up and down from right now where you're sitting right now outside.
I think I'm going to be pretty disciplined in this range.
Smiley Kaufman is in the field. I thought you were kidding me. He is in the field.
No, I'm kidding. Like Lebioda, Shelton, and the last one I'm going to do in this range is going to be JJ Spawn.
Okay,
that's it for me. I'm not touching anybody else.
God, I feel like I need a drink after looking at all this down here.
You do, man.
I thought you were drinking the whole time.
I can't. I'm on antibiotic. My ears ringing.
So
barely hear. Huh?
Vodka goes great with penicillin or whatever.
All right. So I know you guys are getting ready to do your show. Tell tell the audience about your show at Tour_Junkies on Twitter.
Yeah.
Shameless. But what about your show?
What about our show? We do a show. We've been doing it about 6 years now, and we still suck. But we have a good time doing it. We drink, we laugh, we have fun. It's on YouTube, Tour Junkies. You can check that out anywhere you listen to podcasts. It's on that. We do a DraftKings show. We do a betting show. And then Pat has his fantasy golf sommelier show where you learn about wine and alcohol as well as some picks, which is always funny. Good to have. You can check out tourjunkies.com. There you go. Thanks for the plug. Thank you.
Well, hey, Pat, have a good time at Congaree. And don't freeze up. Ask some good questions in the media room, will you?
Okay, I promise. Now that I got you thinking about me, I'll do my best.
Sack up, Pat. Thank you, Travis. That's the sharpest thing you said all show. Just kidding.
Right now, I'm looking. Smiley Kaufman is 1,500 to 1 on DraftKings Sportsbook.
1,500?
Yeah.
You never know when he's going to get it back.
He's such a nice guy.